I'm Nancy, and I've had quite a few requests to learn how to make these flowers that I think they look like open roses. And this is my first instructional video, so please bear with me. I hope it comes out good. These are from the Garden Splendor file, flower number 2, which is from Scraptastical Creations. I use 6 petals to make these flowers, and I use 3 larger size and 3 smaller size. And it looks like this on the page when you cut them out. The larger ones are about 4 inches and the smaller ones are about 3 inches wide, and the overall flower is about 3.5 inches once it's all finished. So you can cut them out on an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. This is sort of a medium weight. These are made out of a little bit the texture that's a little bit thicker, and it's a little bit harder to curl these, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to do it no problem, and they kind of hold the shape a little bit better. This is kind of about the same type of paper here that I'm going to show you with today, and although they hold the shape beautifully as well, they have a tendency to just get a little bit softer. Okay, so these are the cutouts from that page there that we'll be using, and the tools that I use are this McGill mat. It's kind of like a mouse pad, a little foamy, and these are the embossing tools. This is the set. It's the McGill. Comes with these 3, and I bought this little tool. I thought it might be good for you know, curling, and it's a skinnier point, so you can use it for making lines and things like that. But for today we'll be using this one, which is a 6mm ball at the end. So to start, what I do is take each flower, each petal, and I just pinch all the way around each one. So we'll do that to each petal. Now here's the tricky part. I had this little gizmo tool. It used to have a rubber end, and it was used for like picking up little things, and then this is just a very sharp poking end. So it's good for making holes in the center if you want to stem them, which I'm not going to show you that one right now. We're just going to make the regular one. I'll do another video with how to stem them. But so it's good for that, but it's also what I use to make the curls on each petal. So if you have something, you know, any kind of skinny, stiff metal thingamabob like this will work for you. You know, you try some different things and see what works. Okay, so for the tricky part, this is what we do. You take your thingamabob, a very technical term, and what I do is I start to pinch it and I kind of roll it between my fingers, and it ends up coming like that. And then you do it to the other side. Pinch and roll. And then you get this, you know, kind of wavy, crazy looking little petal. So you want to pinch and roll. And then pinch and roll. And keep doing that on each petal. I mean, this is how this flower will end up looking when you make it really pinched and wavy like that. And if you put, you know, if you don't want it to look as wavy, you just put less of a pinch and a roll to it. You can, you know, play around with it and see what you like. So here we go, and I'll just whip through these, hopefully quickly. I try to use some different fingers when I'm going because, you know, you kind of, especially when you're making a lot of them and you're not used to it, your fingers get sore. And these old arthritic hands of mine, it does help keep them in shape and help me exercise them and keep them strong, but, you know, they get sore. So I'll just pinch and roll. And the one side always seems to be easier than the other side. Okay, 2 to go. See, so it's not that time consuming. Kind of get the hang of it and play around with it and do it. And then, you know, even as you're going, you'll find some are curled more than others. And you know what, that's okay, because petals on a flower, some are curled more than others. On a flower nature, nothing's perfect, so it'll look more realistic that way. Okay, so here's the fun part. You take your pad and put your petal on top of it. You have your 6mm shaping tool here with the rounded end. And you're just going to start in the middle, applying gentle pressure and swirl it. And you see how it's starting to cup? So you want to just keep going around and around and around and swirl it up until you get a nice little cup like that. Okay, so we're going to do that to all the petals. Okay, and here is the smaller size, starting in the middle, spinning, and cupping. Okay, so there we go, we have them all done, ready, all cupped up. So you're going to start with your bigger ones. And you want to kind of make sure each petal is sort of resting inside each. So you have the right side of the petal tucked into the left side of the petal next to it, so that they kind of cup around like that. Okay, and then with your glue gun, just put a spot of glue here. And you're going to put it in here and angle the petals so that it covers the whole of the one underneath it. So you see how I have that there, like that. I'm going to move this so I don't get it all glued up. Okay, and you're just going to finish up with your bigger petals. A little pressure on it so they hold together. And so that's the 3 larger ones. Now we're going to do the 3 smaller ones. Okay, so that's the first smaller one. Now as you get to do the next 2, you're going to make them tighter and tighter. So for this one, we're going to tuck our petals in, like I said, like that, and just kind of roll it together. Put a little glue, and again, place your petals so the middle of this one is in between the 2 below it. Give it a little pressure, and you see how that's forming a very beautiful center. So if you want to keep it open, more of an open center, you can, you know, do the next petal the same way. If you want it to be more of a closed center, what you can do is just open this one up a little bit and add a dab of glue in between each petal, like so. And then as you fold them into each other and push them together, it'll keep that tight shape a little bit better. And then I just kind of like to flatten out my bottom a little bit. So that's what it's going to stay like and, you know, hold together like that. Okay, so we put our last dab of glue on. And push it in. So now I'm going to use my skinny tool so I don't open it up too much, but you want to open up a little because we're going to put our stamens in the middle. And these are the ones I have. I bought these on eBay. I'm going to try to look up her name for you and see if I can find it. I think she was out of Canada, so it took a little while for them to get here, but they're really nice and they were very inexpensive. And they come in a bunch of different colors. I have pinks and whites and yellows and purples, but these are a light green and I think they look pretty with this apricot color. So I have about five of them here, and what you do is fold them in half. And they don't have to be perfectly lined up. You want some of them to stick up so it, has a very natural look. So you want to fold it in half, and at the point where you've folded it, add some glue. And then quickly, before the glue dries too much, stick them down in there and put them in position. And there you have it. There's your flower. So to finish it off and cover up your back a little bit, I do have leaves, and I'm not sure which file this is from. I'll look this up and try and put it in the notes when I post this. I think it might be from the same file. It's definitely from Scrubtastical Creations. Just not sure which file it is exactly. So for these, you want to take the smaller point of your tool. You could even use a very small one. This is 2mm, and I think the other one I have is 1. And what you want to do is just make a line right down the middle. Oops, and don't poke a hole in it like I just did for that one. Give it a little bend. And if you want, you can add a little bit of ink on the edges. Give it a little dimension if you want, and ink it up, or just leave them plain. And you're just going to put a little dab of glue on here like so, and fit it between the openings of 2 petals. And look at that, you don't even see the hole I made. And then this one, we'll tuck it in right here. And there you have it. Super easy, right? It's, they're a lot of fun. And you can do it too. Just take a little practice, have some patience, get that rolling technique down, and you'll be making flowers like this too.